What's up, Luigi? What are you complaining about? Turn what off? Only thing on right now is the game and the mic. Hopefully you're having a good day, though, Luigi. Don't want that on. Alright. It's time to question Chief Prosecutor Lana Sky. 221 District Court, courtroom number 9. Now then, will the defendant, Miss Lana Sky, please take the stand? Miss Lana Sky, you are the Chief Prosecutor. I'm sure you're aware of what is required of you. But, Mr. Edgeworth, you already know everything. You know all that I've done these past 2 years. Please provide the court with your testimony, Miss Sky. And remember, you are under oath. We want to hear the truth. Of course, the truth. Lana, no matter what happens, I'll always be your sister. Now then, your testimony, if you will. First, tell us about your relationship with Chief Gant. Everything hinges on your testimony. You're the only chance we have to get Gant. Gant and the Fabrications. I worked alongside Gant for years. There's no truth to this blackmail theory. I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago all by myself. When I found Prosecutor Marshall's body, I rearranged the crime scene. My only motivation was to get Doc convicted. It had nothing to do with Emma. Are you sure about this testimony? Your Honor, I'm confessing to a capital offense. Of course I'm sure. But Lana! If this is true, then that means Chief Gant has nothing to do with this. That's what I've been telling you from the beginning. Please, Mr. Wright, you gotta help her! She's sacrificing herself because of me! But what if she's telling the truth? She's not. I know my sister. Whenever she speaks stiffly like that, she's hiding something. Deep down, she's really screaming in agony! Yeah. This is no time to start second-guessing myself. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. I worked alongside Gant for years. How many years exactly? Ever since I made senior detective. Let's see, I was 24 then, so that would be 5 years. Detective Gant and Detective Sky were legendary partners. I personally saw them testify in numerous cases. She must have been good coming from the same school as Mia. Damon Gant was a respectable detective. That's why. There was no truth to this blackmail theory. But think about it, Miss Sky. You didn't murder Detective Goodman. You told me as much yesterday in jail. You still don't get it, do you, Mr. Wright? Any testimony you cannot present in court is as useless as idle gossip. I stabbed Detective Goodman with a knife. And I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago all by myself. Did you do so to help out your sister? Joe Doc was a serial killer. My sister almost became his last victim that day. I didn't want that incident to ruin her life. But what she did was justifiable self-defense. She wouldn't have been charged with anything. That's not the point. She was traumatized that day all because of that creep. That's why I couldn't forgive him. Lana. So that's why you fabricated the evidence 2 years ago? When I found Prosecutor Marshall's body, I rearranged the crime scene. You say you did this all by yourself? Yes. Would you mind telling us what you found when you arrived at the crime scene? It seems I was the first person to discover the scene. The broken Prosecutor's Award knife was struck in the victim's body. Wait, what? 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 But Prosecutor Marshall died from an unfortunate accident. And that's only a situation you dreamed was possible. The reality is, it wasn't my sister who took the prosecutor's life. Fantasize all you want, Mr. Wright, but I'll never change this statement. You mean Prosecutor Marshall wound up being killed by Doc? Something like that. If that is so, what happened to the other murder weapon? Doc was carrying a switchblade knife. Oh, that was lying on the floor a little distance away. It was probably knocked away in the struggle. That's not how it went down. She's trying to cover up her lies with more lies. All just to protect me. So, when you found the scene like this, what did you do? After all, this is what everything boils down to. Yes. I broke off... Oh, that wasn't in there before. I broke off the tip of Doc's knife, planted it inside the wound, and then moved the body. You planted the tip of Doc's knife in the victim's body? And then you moved the body? But why? Why wouldn't you do that? You of all people should know, Edgeworth. You already had a good head on your shoulders. My head isn't that bad, but maybe I ought to ask for the sake for the others. Why did you plant the knife? Why did you move the body? Why did you move the body? When you showed up on the scene, where exactly was the victim's body? It was where you deduced it was, by Chief Gant's desk. But the body was found by your desk. Why did you move it there? The reason for that is simple. Let's have the witness explain this in more detail. The reason this guy moved the body. The piece of the jaw that shattered during the events threatened my plan. Hold on. Why did you plant the knife? Why did you do that? Come now, Mr. Wright. Even you should be able to figure it out. Very well, let's add this to the witness's testimony. The reason this guy fabricated the knife. Hold on, does this one change? My motivation to get Doc convicted had nothing to do with Emma. I knew the tip of the weapon found buried in his body would be all the proof we needed. Hold on. Let me go back here for a sec. I just need to check this out. Okay, yeah, this one changes. Ooh, this one's interesting. Jaw that shattered during the events from my plan. Pieces of the jaw, you mean... Yes, that wretched jaw you showed us earlier. From the scene of the crime, I felt it would be more expedient to move the body. So, when you first found the body, the jaw was already... Of course, it had been shattered to pieces. If you look at the crime scene, it would be clear right away what happened. Neil Marshall was dead and Doc was lying unconscious. In other words, the jaw must have been broken during their struggle. I see. What's the matter, Emma? Apparently the jaw shattered at the time the crime was committed, but I have a feeling there's more... Yes! How did he write the name if it was already shattered? He couldn't, not easily. There must be a contradiction here somewhere. Anyways, I committed this fabrication completely alone. My only motive was to get Doc convicted. It had nothing to do with Emma. So you rearranged the crime scene. Are you sure you didn't do this to keep Emma from looking like the murderer? How many times do I have to tell you, Mr. Wright? Emma didn't do it. Period. Are you so desperate to hide that fact? You're willing to risk the death sentence? She's lying! She did it so I wouldn't be blamed for what happened! In any case, as a prosecutor, what I've done is unpardonable. There's nothing I can do to make up for my action. Mr. Wright, my sister's lying! Look, looks like she's determined to protect you to the very end. She insists she fabricated the evidence by herself. There's no way she could have done it all alone! I've got to get Lana to talk more. If she's lying, then she's bound to slip up and make a contradiction. Yes, hold on. Piece of the jar that shattered. Final fragment found that Chief Gant. Emma is written on the surface. Miss Guy, I understand how you feel. You committed that crime 2 years ago to protect your sister. You mean the forgery at the scene where Neil Marshall was murdered? If that's true... I can't read, apparently. If that truth were to be exposed now, the past 2 years of your life will have been in vain. Even so, I'm compelled to bring everyone to... I'm having a stroke or something. I am compelled to bring to everyone's attention a significant contradiction within your testimony. A contradiction in my testimony? You testified, and I quote, "The pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan." That's right. Do you have a problem with that? It's a simple oversight, really. You see, a message was written on this jar with the victim's blood. Yes, the prosecutor must have written it in his final moments. Exactly so. And this is where the contradiction lies. In order for the victim to be able to write his message on the jar, it must not yet have been broken before he died. He couldn't have written Emma's name on a shattered jar! Order! Order! Your Honor, it would appear more information is needed in regards to this jar and its bloody message. I feel like that has a different, a different meaning in Britain, but anyways, we may be missing something critical here. Something critical? Chief Prosecutor, it seems you're as in the dark as we are about the truth towards which we're headed. What? Just tell us exactly what you saw. We'll piece together the information to arrive at the truth. Very well, the witness may now continue her testimony. My voice has changed. I've hit puberty, boys! The jar and the message in blood. I immediately noticed the blood traces on the jar. But it was dark in the room and I didn't have time to check it out. To be safe, I wiped away the blood. The fragments were large, so I'm sure I got them all. All I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered. You mean you were the one who wiped away the message in blood? I wasn't chief prosecutor at the time. She didn't think Doc was the real murderer. That's why she tried to erase the real evidence. Very well. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. I immediately noticed the blood traces on the jaw. How? So the jaw was already broken. It was a miracle that thing hadn't broken earlier. It certainly looks as feeble as the defense's case. But not as feeble as a judge's judgment. You were an ace detective who never missed a detail. Do you really expect us to believe you didn't investigate what was written on the jaw pieces? Normally I would have. But it was dark in the room, and I didn't have time to check it out. So, you didn't know your sister's name was written on the jar? No. If I had known, I would have gathered all the pieces and ground them to dust. Well, that helps my case. Lana, you do that for me? It seems you two might make up yet. Anyways, I just barely had enough time to move the body as it was. If someone happened upon the scene, you'd lose your chance to erase the evidence. You must have been in a hurry. I was. I knew I had to destroy the evidence before anyone came. This is rather shocking. To be safe, I wiped away the blood. I'm afraid this action of yours reveals what really happened. What do you mean? If you really thought Doc killed Prosecutor Marshall, you wouldn't have wiped away the blood. What else could I have done in that situation? Lana! I only had a few moments. There wasn't enough time for me to do anything else but gather up the pieces. The fragments were large, so I'm sure I got them all. But how could you see with the power out? It should have been pitch black in that office. The detective is always prepared, Mr. Wright. Even now, I always carry a pocket light and a camera with me. Even I carry a bottle of emergency luminol wherever I go. I never miss anything. I got every last piece. That's a lie. All I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered. So, you illegally rearranged the crime scene? Yes. I don't have any excuses for my actions. I'm so sorry, Lana. I didn't know! I treated you so badly all this time. It's not too late. There's still plenty of time to make up. After we've gone to the bottom of this incident. No doubt this day will leave a permanent stain on the history of the prosecutor's office. While contradictions have surfaced in her testimony, your sister really pulling up a fight. She must really care about you. Still, she's not doing this the right way, huh? I think I finally figured out the contradictions in her testimony. There's one final possibility that might turn everything around. I'm gonna save, because again, you never know with this game at times, but I'm gonna present the jaw again. Miss Sky, I believe this jaw conceals a truth even you were unaware of. What? We found the final piece of this jaw in Chief Gant's safe. In the Chief's safe? But how? I knew it. She really didn't know. There's something even more disturbing about that final piece. There was still blood on it. But the witness just testified that she gathered every last piece and wiped off the blood on them all. Yes, which leaves us with only one explanation. On the night Prosecutor Marshall was murdered, you were not the first one to show up on the scene! Chief Gant got there before you! But couldn't the defendant have simply missed a piece? I'm afraid that's unlikely. The pieces are too big for anyone to miss, let alone an ace detective. That may well be, but everyone makes mistakes. Even I once wasted an entire day looking for my dentures. They were in my mouth all along. Can you believe that? Have you forgotten, Your Honor? When this witness arrived at the scene, the jaw was already broken. Oh, that. There's no way a name could have been written on a shattered jaw. Another person discovered the scene prior to the witness. I hope you're not implying this person was Chief Gant at the time he was looking for the date downstairs. Besides, even if he was there first, why wouldn't he break the jaw? The question is, if he did arrive there first, why did he hide the fact for 2 years? Well, Your Honor, can you answer us that? No! Wait, I'm not the one on trial here. Damon Gant arrived at the crime scene prior to the witness. He proceeded to break the jaw, and purposefully hid one of the broken pieces. Question: what is this action called? Fabrication of evidence. But why would Chief Gant do that? In light of what happened afterwards, isn't it clear? What happened afterwards? Discovering the scene, Lana Skye believed her sister, Emma, killed the victim. Determined to help her sister, she sought Gant's aid. Lending her his aid, Gant helped her create evidence that incriminated Doc, sparing Emma. And therein lies the reason. The reason why Miss Skye became the chief's puppet. No, I did it on my own. Please, sis, stop trying to protect the chief. I can't watch you suffer anymore, for my sake! No, it wasn't you, Emma! You didn't kill anyone! Don't believe anything Mr. Wright says! Defense attorneys make up their most foul lies to defend their clients. Foul lies? Imagine that coming from my own client! I guess you do seem the type who likes to twist the truth. Wait a minute. What if we're still smack dab in the middle of Gant's trap? Is something wrong, Mr. Wright? Lana may be right after all. What do you mean, Wright? So, you do tell foul lies then, Mr. Wright? Miss Skye, please testify once more. But if evidence was fabricated behind your back, then Emma's accidental killing of Prosecutor Marshall might also be a lie. But I do remember knocking over Mr. Marshall. Miss Skye, if you will. I can't. There's nothing to be afraid of anymore. This cross-examination may not change a thing. However, there is a possibility that it will, if you tell the truth. Very well. I'll testify about what I really saw. Alright, the witness may testify once more for the final time. Actual crime scene. When I arrived, I found Mr. Marshall's body impaled on the suit of armor's sword. Emma and Doc were lying unconscious on the floor nearby. When I saw what happened, I thought she did it. That's why I erased all the evidence that linked her to the murder. I had Chief Gant help me remove the body from the sword and carry it. But if it all really was fabrication, Emma might be innocent. Unbelievable. The body was impaled on the armor's sword? You were the only one who saw that. If only you had proof. Actually, I do have proof. I gave it to you, Mr. Wright, just this morning. What? To me? It's a picture I took of the crime scene as I encountered it. I thought it might be needed. But I don't remember receiving a picture like that! Lana must have known. See, Mr. Wright, she really does have faith in you. Very well, Mr. Wright. Please present this picture. I don't remember receiving any pictures from Lana. Lana said she gave it to you this morning, right? I seem to remember getting something from her then. Let's check out that evidence again. There must be a picture in there somewhere. Oh, shoot. Good thing I mashed the A button and not the X button. The only thing we got was the evidence law. Hey, there's a picture here. Oh my. This is the actual crime scene. No other detective saw the crime scene like this. Because I contacted Criminal Affairs only after I had rearranged everything. Crime scene photo from the case 2 years ago. Mr. Wright! That piece cut out from his vest. Could that be the cloth you found in Chief Gant's safe? What's this? This is a handprint, isn't it? That cloth. It had fingerprints on it. Whoever fingerprints those on must be the real murderer. What? But those... they're yours, Emma! Why are your lips trembling all purple, Mr. Wright? Anyways, let's get on with the cross-examination. So long as you tell the truth, we should be able to flesh out the real murderer. Very well. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. When I arrived, I found Mr. Marshall's body impaled on... Hello? Come now, Archie! This is the perfect excuse for a trial I've ever seen! Chief Gant! What? Now you want to make me out to be the bad guy, too? If so, I'd like to put in a word or two in my defense. I'm afraid it's too late for that. What? You already declined to testify. That means you forfeited your right to make a statement of any sort. This must be that risk we were talking about earlier. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy the sound of the noose tightening around your neck. God, I can't read. Oh boy. So right. You think I'm worried. Sorry to disappoint you, but I don't need to make any statements. What do you mean? The evidence will do all the talking for me. Even if I can't testify, I can still present evidence. Yes, that's true. Wait, you mean you still have some conclusive evidence? No, I don't, but someone does. Someone? So, what's your excuse, righto? Why have you been keeping quiet about it? You do have something to show us, right? Something that proves who knocked over Neil Marshall, causing his death. Conclusive evidence that leaves no room for doubt. Is that true, Mr. Wright? If I show that piece of evidence now, Emma's sure to be made out as the murderer. Mr. Wright, if you have any more evidence, present it now, and if you try to conceal anything, you will be the one appearing before the Board of Inquiries. What do I do now? I better think this through carefully. I can't afford to make the wrong decision. Should I present that piece of evidence? The one that shows who really killed Prosecutor Marshall. We can show it, but hold on. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. I'm gonna save and say yes. Yes, Your Honor. I do have further evidence. Oh, right! The time's finally come to show them. Those prints have gotta be the Chief's. Now then, let's see this conclusive evidence. The evidence that shows who actually murdered Prosecutor Marshall. It's a piece of leather cloth. Yes, it most likely was cut from the victim's vest near the chest. What's this? There's a big handprint on it. Surely it must have been left on the cloth by whoever shoved the victim into the sword. Whose fingerprints are, though? Is this? I'm sure Righto has checked, haven't you? Well, whose are they? They're Miss Sky's. Miss Emma Sky's. What? They're mine? So I really did do it? See, I told you it was conclusive. But this was found in your safe. That means it's possibly you who forged it. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't remember any cloth in my safe. Do you really expect me to believe that? But give it up, Mr. Wright. It's over. You shouldn't have presented that. By presenting that evidence, you tied Emma Sky to Neil Marshall's death. No. It appears we have our killer. No. No! Everything hinged on that point. In the end, Lana alone was found guilty on all counts. On the show on that one. Oops.